Welcome to the first video of 2025's Christmas Decorate with me. In this video, I'm going to focus on my entryway and also on my kitchen. I store the majority of my Christmas decorations in the closet of the guest bedroom. I have these 4 bins that hold my garland, my Santa and Nutcracker collection, and also my ornaments. When my husband and I got married almost 30 years ago, I had no Christmas decorations, so I had to start from scratch. And of course, in those days, there wasn't a lot of money to go around. We were just starting our careers, and I had to add to my collection every year, a little bit at a time, usually by buying my decorations on the after Christmas sales. This trunk in my dining room currently holds my wreaths, my smaller Christmas trees, and also my Christmas village, which is what I'm going to be using this year for my entryway. My Christmas village is actually quite small. It consists of 3 houses, but again, my entryway is very small as well, so it's just enough to fit on this chest of drawers that I have in the entryway. So I'm just removing some of the decor that I already had there. What I usually do is I just cycle my decorations from room to room. So I use the same decorations year after year, but I use them in different places. That way I always feel like there's something new and fresh to look at. My Christmas Village pieces were purchased at Kohl's. They're part of their St. Nicholas Square collection, and that was really my favorite collection. I loved the architecture of the buildings. I loved the outfits of their little people. So these I purchased again after Christmas. So the prices were usually like $29.99, $24.99 to $39.99 depending on the size of the house. But I would get them after Christmas and I would wait until they were about 70% off. So every year after Christmas, I would treat myself to either one of the little houses in the collection or like one year I bought some figurines, other year I bought some of their Christmas trees. So slowly the collection kept growing over the years. I always place the schoolhouse in the middle, propped up on a book so it stands a little higher than the rest of the houses. Of course, Oliver always has to be right in the middle of the action. And then I start to layer in the pine trees. I put the taller ones in the back. I also have some little bushes to add in and the other smaller elements of the Christmas village. And over the mirror, I'm just going to use this glittery wreath. I like to keep things very simple. Fussy, overdone Christmas decor is not necessarily my taste. And also, I mean, anything I put up, I eventually have to take down in January. So I try to keep things easy for my future self by just doing enough to make things look festive, but not too much. Now that the chest of drawers is finished, I'm going to focus my attention on the handrail of my stairs. So this is a new item. I purchased 3 of these strands of garland from Michael's a few days ago. They were already 60% off, and they only had 3 though, and I really need a 4th. I had this beautiful garland, actually garland that I've been using for about 10 years, and it was this flocked garland. It had berries and pine cones. It was really pretty. The only problem was that because it was flocked, anytime anyone brushed against it, it would drop the little sparkly bits. So I found myself having to vacuum every day. Um, because of this flocked garland. So finally, after 10 years, I decided that I didn't want to deal with it. Yes, it was beautiful, but it was just too much maintenance for me. So I sold it on Facebook Marketplace and I used the money to buy this garland from Michael's. I do have a few more strands of a different garland. It's this faux cedar garland, but it's such cheap looking, thin and scraggly that I really only use it if I need to fill any gaps. To finish off the handrail, I just tie some very simple floppy bows with some burgundy velvet ribbon. kitchen, I'm going to start with this wall shelf. I still have some of my ironstone, and these are pieces that I use year round, so I left them on the shelf. This is the first Christmas that I'm using this wall shelf, and I was hoping to use it to display my Santa collection. But unfortunately, I didn't realize that the Santas are too tall for the shelves. These shelves are not tall enough to accommodate them. So I'm gonna have to confine my Santa display to the top shelf where they will be able to fit, and then also to this little serving piece that I have here. And then I will add in some other Christmassy looking things to make the shelves look a little bit more festive. I do have some of the items that I thrifted that I shared in my previous video. So some of these might go on the shelf, again, depending on if the shelves are tall enough to accommodate them or not. These are the red and white transferware plates that I thrifted. I also collected some green and red books from my house. And I have these little rosemary topiaries that I DIY this summer, and I'm hoping to incorporate those as well. So let me get started and see what I can come up with. I wanted to fill in some of the bare spots between the Santas and the other decor. So I went in my backyard and I picked some evergreens. I have some holly, some pine. I believe this might be cedar. And I also found some pine cones on the ground. So I picked a couple of these. I like to introduce some really earthy tones, like the brown of these pine cones I think will be perfect to offset all of the greens and the reds that I'm adding. after switching some things around, this is what I came up with. So I just incorporated my white stoneware that I keep up there pretty much all year long, and then just added some natural elements like the evergreen branches, the pine cones. I had a candle up there, like a mercury glass type candle, but I switched it out for this Dundee marmalade container. I thought it would be fun to put some peppermint sticks in there. I don't have any right now, so I'll be picking those up next time I go to the grocery store, and I'll show you what it looks like with the peppermint sticks inside. But I think it looks pretty festive. And for my little topiaries, I just tied some burgundy ribbon. I think it goes very nicely with this scarf that I thrifted a couple years ago with all of those wonderful Christmas colors. So now that the wall shelf is taken care of, let me go ahead and decorate some of the other areas of the kitchen. On the coffee station, I'm going to keep it very simple because this is a space that we use every day, multiple times a day. So I normally have this picture hanging here with these children and the little bunny rabbits. So I'm going to remove that. And I'm going to use the Santa print that I thrifted. And all I did is I just hot glued some very strong magnets to the back of the frame. And I'm just going to put it right on the refrigerator, and it should stick. I try not to keep any Christmas decor on my kitchen counters just because our kitchen is used every day and I don't like to have to move things out of the way to prepare meals. So one area that I do like to decorate is the area above my sink. Normally I have the floral valance hanging above the sink, but for Christmas and for wintertime, I switch it out for this red and white ticking valance that I made several years ago. The valance is on a tension rod, so it's very easy to take down and to replace with the Christmas one. And this way it's out of the way, but it gives just enough Christmas color to tie the rest of the kitchen together. I decided not to use any decorations on the island just for practical purposes, but I do have this beautiful ironstone pitcher and I want to use it on top of the stove. Now, of course, this is something that I will remove when I cook, but it's going to take me like 2 seconds. So I have these sprays or these branches that I got from Hobby Lobby. Last week they were already 60% off. So I'm just cutting them to make them shorter, and that will go on top of the stove. And for my kitchen table, I'm keeping it very easy My Christmas cactus is blooming. It's been blooming for several weeks and it still looks beautiful. So that's going to be the centerpiece for the kitchen table. In next week's video, I'll be decorating my living room and my dining room. I hope to see you then.